got one. Oh, what it is. Got a spot. Nice. I'm on the board. Nice. First fish out of the Etowah River. Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen. Today, I'm floating the Etowah with a good friend of mine that I just met, Mr. Jim Weir. Weir because we're gonna be fishing some fishing weirs today. But anyway, this is a 6-mile stretch, and we are just having an absolute blast. Just caught the first one. Only been here for about a half hour, and plenty of time for a lot more. You know, most rapids you're gonna come up on in a river are just gonna be maybe class 1s. I mean, they're just nothing. 1s, maybe 2s. If you're really worried about getting dunked or going in the water, you drop your seat down to the lowest position. I'm not too much worried about it. And the things you're looking for is you're looking for where the most water is going through those rapids, or you're looking for what they call the V. And you'll see here in just a minute, make sure I got that back camera on, what I'm talking about. And you just line up on that V and go right through it. And if your kayak drafts shallow, just like a big rig does, you're just fine. Now you see what I'm coming up on. There's the V. In other words, you got the smooth water is going out into the rough water, and you want to hit that smooth water dead on. That's where that smooth water goes the furthest. All right, and you just keep your paddle ready to move, and you just let your boat do it. Steer it on out, and you pass right on through. And that's it. And then just like Jim, you turn around and you fish the eddies. All right, so I want you to notice how I'm positioning myself. Trying to get in a position where I can fish the seam. And if you look, you got the running water right here, and you got a seam that runs right down the edge of that running water. And I want to be able to throw something moving pretty much into that moving water, but just barely, and then bring it out into the seam and then fish that. That's where a lot of the fish will hang out, is right there in the seam of that running water, just waiting for, it's like a conveyor belt of food coming by. And that's what they're sitting there doing, just waiting to come out and feed, and they'll come right back into the calm water. You got calm water on one side and you got rough water on the other. That's exactly what they're trying to do. So I'm trying to position my boat where I'm not in the current, or then I just get one cast at a spot. But I'm just out of the current and fishing the seam. What Jim's fishing, he's fishing where that water's coming over, just at the base of the rocks. And that's another place the fish will hold out. It's a little eddy that swirls. They'll swirl like this, and they'll hang out right at the base of the rocks, right under the rapids. Oof, just like that. I got hit as soon as I got to the base. Little red eye. Pretty little bitty fish. All right, so what I'm doing, I don't even know what this little thing's called, a hula something, I don't know. Anyway, little Ned rig with a weed guard, just throwing up into the slack water that's right next to the current. And he hit as soon as it hit the water. So he wasn't too far away from where I casted. Haven't found the big ones yet though. Good grief. I can't tell, he ain't holding still. Yep. Look like a smallmouth. Yep. Definitely a red-eye bass. On this type of stuff, it's all about the speed. Well, that's the best one of the day. I ain't saying much, but it's the best one of the day. Awesome. Jimbo! He hammered that little craw. My goodness, I think I'm gonna have to stinking finesse him to death all day. But basically what I'm doing is just you know, Texas rig it. Throw it behind every stinking rock. And hopefully get bit. And Jim mentioned that the only time he's gotten a bite is when he lands on their head and they bite it immediately, which means that they are not in the mood to eat, and we're having to force feed them. And so I'm going just the opposite. When that happens, I go really, really small and I give them something that looks like an opportunistic meal. And it's exactly what I'm doing, just throwing a little baby rage craw in there, and in behind every little rock and everything that I can get it into. Goodness gracious. Got a good one. Finally a decent spot. Man. Let's get him up here in the boat. Whew. Well, what I did, let me put this thing back real quick. That's a good little, nice big spot, pretty. I love how they fight. What I did was I've got right here where the water is about to go over the rapids. There's always a good spot to cast because the water is pushing bait towards those rocks, and it goes and it hits those rocks and it creates an eddy right down at the bottom, and those bass will literally put their belly on the bottom to keep the water from the current from pushing them away, and they'll just sit there and wait for something to come by. And evidently I laid that little crawfish right in front of his mouth, and he bit. One of my favorite places to catch fish, and people a lot of times that spot right there is often really overlooked. And so don't ever pass up the front edge of some rapids or front edge of some rocks. Found a hole. 3. 3 out of that same hole, 2 in a row. I mean, that rock must undercut or something, as far as I can tell. It just, every time I slide it, you know, I've caught a bunch of them out away from it, but every time it slides down the back end of that rock, it gets hit. Not big ones on that rock, but there's big ones out from it. Got that one way out there. Yes, sir. Come on, bud. Little bitty spotted bass. Hold him up. That's not a bad one at all. Man, pretty. There he goes. All right. I guess we are almost done. It's almost dark and it's time to end this video. So we had a good time, caught a lot of dinks. Next time we're going to catch some bigger ones. But like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.